Alright people, what's up everyone, and welcome to another reaction video for another internet historian video. And look at this beast, good lord, 69 minutes, almost 70. What did I just say, 69? That's the funny number. And this is a brand new one, I should mention. This is called Man in Cave, which is so vague that I have no idea. There's a lot of stories about people in caves, so I have no idea what this is about. I love when I don't know anything about the stories. I really do. Like the Costa. I've just watched the Costa Concordia one again. Cost of Concordia is the video, but Costa Concordia. Just watched it again not too long ago. I actually watched the No Man's Sky one also. That one is great too. I mean, I knew a lot of that story, but still, it was fun. But I really love the ones I don't know anything about. Which I'm so happy I'm ignorant. It's so good. Ignorance is bliss, as they said in Matrix. Anyway, link in the description. Go check it out yourself first, of course. This is gonna be a long one. I'm ready. I got one drink. I got two drinks. I got two drinks. It's a little like Dracula guy. Anyway, let's get to it. Link in the description again. I already said that, but one more time. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, and play. Oh. Following a satire. Adjust your screen's bright. Okay, it was fine.
In the state of Kentucky,
I think I'm good.
there is a cave.
Yeah.
That every now and then demands a sacrifice.
I'm sorry.
January 30th, 1920.
Whoa.
A man
going
walks
back
towards
in
the
time.
cave with a kerosene lamp in his hand.
Right.
He hangs up his jacket
Right.
and ducks into a 5-foot opening. The inside of the cave is narrow. He has to drop down on his hands and knees, crawling through a passageway filled with jagged rocks and choking dust. Then down a chute he had cleared out months earlier. All of the daylight is gone from here, and this lantern is his only source of light. Ignoring the loose limestone rocks perched directly above him, he is now 100 feet in, and here he reaches the turnaround room.
Oh.
Now, they call this the turnaround room
This is when you turn around and
the
go home.
juncture where even experienced cavers say, no thanks, and
Fuck
turn
this.
around. Because to continue on
This is
means
some descent
going
shit.
through this.
Don't go in there. The
squeeze.
squeeze.
A gap in the stone of only 9 inches.
Oh man, I'm definitely not getting
For
through that.
reference, here's a subway sub.
Oh.
Going through, he would look exactly like this.
Fuck
His
you.
arms will need to be
Ted the-
completely at their
Ted the
side, and
Caver
he will need to
creepypasta.
exhale so that he can reduce the size of his torso. Gradually, bit by bit,
Oh man.
he disappears into the hole.
I was
His
gonna make it.
clothes are caught on sharp gypsum crystals, hooking into him and threatening to hold him in place. But using his feet like paddles, he pushes through.
Why?
He reaches a wider opening at the other side,
Oh, is that him? There he is.
then crawls forward towards a ledge.
Well, isn't this friend?
Illuminated here is a 10-foot drop. A rope is already secured around a boulder, which allows him to rappel down.
Dude, I'm tense, bro.
His worn-out leather shoes touch the ground. This is as far as he can go, and it is time for work to begin. What he is working on is another
Sacrifice.
opening. At the moment, it's too small for anyone to fit through, but he will chip away at it until he can shove himself right through the other side. Because on the other side
Is it gold?
is this. A magnificent and otherworldly cave structure that will be irresistible to tourists. Every day for months, he has been removing rocks from this crevice. To him, this is all just
The
routine.
animation's so good.
So he eases
I love
further into the gap. Carefully, he contorts his body through. Rocks compress the sides of his torso, so close that his arms are pinned to the side of his body. He once again paddles his feet to inch down. Then, about halfway, he stops.
Oh
The
no.
lantern. It's starting to dim. He will need to go all the way back to the surface to refuel the thing. He sighs. He slowly shuffles back out, pushing the lantern with his shoulder. Then, oh no. Dim, crack,
Oh
darkness.
fuck.
He has knocked over the lamp, and it has broken. Now, the man didn't panic. He had been caught in the dark before, and he could make his way back by feel alone.
Okay.
So he continues worming out.
What a Chad.
Leveraging his foot against what he thinks is the cave wall.
Uh-oh.
But that is not
What
the
was the
cave
spooky
wall.
goblin?
That is in fact a rock
Oh.
protruding from the ceiling.
Oh, no.
As soon as he puts his weight against the rock,
Oh,
it breaks loose. A solid piece weighing 15 kilograms lands directly on his ankle.
Oh,
It aches.
fuck.
But he's okay. It doesn't
Oh,
feel
okay.
as though his ankle is broken, just badly bruised and caught underneath the rock. So he shuffles to move the rock away. Suddenly, gravel. A lot of gravel.
Oh, great.
It falls onto his feet, his legs, his torso, and the weight of it all forces the wedged rock deeper into the gap underneath his foot.
Oh.
Pinned. He tries to push forward.
Oh.
He cannot. He tries to inch backwards. He cannot.
He's real calm
He's
about
stuck.
it, though. So, he's like... I don't
This is Sand Cave. This man is Floyd Collins.
care. Floyd Collins.
He is trapped in absolute darkness, 60 feet deep below the earth.
Oh
All
my
of
God.
his limbs held in place
Holy shit.
at the very bottom
Hour 0.
of this.
Oh, yo, they got the 3D representation. Turnaround room. That was the turnaround room? Oh, he showed fucking the chute. There's the chute. The entrance. Dude, this music is fucking intense. Hello. Looks like a pair of
But before
goofy
I
ass
tell you what
lips.
happens
Alright.
next,
Okay. Levity.
ad time. Speaking of people trapped in a cave,
Yes.
World of Tanks.
Oh, yeah.
World of Tanks is not only the best game I have ever played, it is the only game I have ever played. It's
Oh.
like Cars, but tanks. Picture this.
Oh.
You're a hot new
That's cursed.
T-3485M, and you've just joined the battle because some Cromwell B tank bagged your entire family.
no.
It's time for revenge. You must
your
use
entire
strategy.
family.
You must use stealth. You must use
Yeah,
your
that
wits
doom
to
music.
defeat your enemies. Use long range or short range. It's available on console, but I want you to get it on PC. Imagine a world war, but there are tanks involved this time. Yeah, now you do. When you've seen as many messed up tanks as I have, you get a little cynical about the world. My God, I'm gonna be sick. Look at all the different tanks. You can collectivize and customize them all.
No, baby,
Massive
they
battles
live
where you
life
can
love.
constantly team kill and ruin other people's good time.
Hell yeah.
The engine is historically accurate, especially the Japanese robot tank.
Oh, there he is.
Look, the tanks are kissing.
Oh, a little
Progressive.
tip kiss.
Use the invite code TankMania and get the
His ads are like the
Excelsior
best.
250k credits. Other stuff. Go
Oh,
to the
this
link in the
shit
description
too.
and use the invite code TankMania. Here's what you do. Give World of Tanks. Put
Oh.
that on one screen.
Okay.
Then, on a second monitor,
watch
you'll
this
watch
video?
the next hour of this video while you play the game.
Alright.
Perfection.
I should
I'm
do that.
contractually obliged to say thank you for being a friend.
Thank you for being a friend.
Thanks, empty kid. Go on without me. No, use your repair consumable. It's too late, kid. Take care of my family. No. Get it. And
Oh,
Collins is still
All right,
in the
back
dark,
to the tension.
unable to move. His left arm was pinned underneath his torso, his right wedged by the rock ceiling above. Beneath him, sharp crystal shards dug into his skin.
Oh.
Ice thawed, traced across the ceiling, and dripped down directly onto
oh, his
his
face? God damn.
cooling underneath him.
God
The
was pissed
water
at
was
this guy.
consistent
This day.
54 degrees. Floyd tried to breathe calmly in the concentrated dark. When he did attempt to shuffle, more gravel and rocks would tumble from above and pile onto his feet, so nothing would work. He clawed at the cave walls till his fingertips were bloody, and he realized that there was only one option left. Call out for help. But wait. Who is Floyd, and why did he even go into a
Are we
dangerous
gonna learn
cave?
about? That's the great
Floyd has
question.
been exploring the caves of Kentucky since he was merely 6
Oh,
years
God.
old. And as he grew up, he gained a reputation for being a very daring caver.
Yeah,
He
no
would
shit.
dive into some hole on one side of town
Oh, that
and
picture
emerge
got me.
miles away on someone else's property.
Young Floyd
So,
made me almost die.
he grew
Saw
up
that.
and he became embroiled in the Kentucky Cave Wars. Now, there's way too much to go into here, but the summary
Rolling the
version
gun.
is there's this huge network of interconnected caves called Mammoth Caves. It's actually the largest cave system in the world. And there's a city right in the middle of it. Cave City.
Oh,
Real
okay.
name.
Oh,
So, of course,
that's
there
a
are
real
dozens
name.
of cave entrances on private property
Come
all
on now.
over the place. Now, farmland in this region has very poor soil, and things do not grow well here. So, cave tourism as a source of income quickly became the prominent thing. However, a problem. There are a very large number of caves, but there are only a limited number of tourists.
Oh.
So competition rapidly escalated.
Yo, look at these chads.
Visit my cave. No. Visit
Straight
my
up Peaky
cave.
Blinders.
Big signs were erected saying, tourists, come to me. Mine is definitely open. Mine is the best. But then competitors would respond by saying, hey, by the way, we're open, but don't go to that one over there.
Yeah.
It's really shitty.
That's
In
a,
fact,
that's
it's
a
dangerous.
shit piece.
This kept going further. By the end, they were blocking off the trail
Wait,
to
what is
each
that?
other's property.
I want to see what that said. First time I'm pausing. There you go. That's not too bad. If you want to see the original and only Mammoth Cave address, do not be misled by so-called new entrance.
This kept
That's what
going
said
further.
that.
By the end, they were blocking off the trail to each other's property, beating
The
each
little
other in
log.
the street, and hiring people called cappers, who would
Yeah,
dress up
cappers.
as policemen
Yeah.
and tell tourists, no, you can't go in there. That one, no, it's illegal.
There's your bad.
Despite the fierce competition, Floyd found a cave on his property, and he started advertising it to
Come
tourists.
to Sand Cave.
Of course,
that
very
sounds
few came.
sounds like I don't want to
All
go.
right, he thought. What if I found something really special and unique? Then surely people would have to come to my cave to see it. So he kept exploring and exploring
He found
until
a
he
nice little
found
room of,
this hollow.
whatever the fuck
It
this
was
is.
filled with big gypsum crystals, and when you were in there, it felt like a completely alien world. But it was barely accessible. This small tunnel is the only way in.
Gotta make an
He would
entrance.
need to dig for months to open it up to tourists, but he knew he could do it.
By that point, the
Thanks to
iPhones
competition.
are out.
They knew the value of this cave. They knew the potential. They wanted it for themselves.
He's
and they
130
wanted
years
Collins
old.
gone.
Still working on it.
One time, 5 of them just wandered onto Floyd's property
shit.
and demanded he
Oh,
hand over
shit.
the lease. When he refused, they just started beating the shit out of him.
Oh,
This
shit!
only stopped when Floyd's brother, Homer, marched out with a shotgun
Homer.
and chased them all off. But Floyd was not deterred. He spent 12 hours a day, every day, for months, clearing gravel and stone, chipping away at that passage. He would
Oh, yeah,
open it up
Floyd.
to
Don't
tourists,
give up.
make his cave an incredible
My boy
attraction,
Floyd.
and make his dreams come
He
true.
made $8. Look at him. He's a rich man. Early 1900s.
Is anyone there?
So there's Floyd in the dark, yelling out for help. He's at the start of a very tiring loop. Sleep, wake, yell.
Hey!
Sleep,
No one's
wake,
gonna be there.
yell.
No
Hours
tourists showed up.
passed.
I'm assuming
His
nobody
voice
else will be
gave
there.
in. Arms tingled numb. Pain radiating up his ankle. Here he remained in the dark for the next 23 hours.
Oh. God damn. This is.
Quickly you might
Lost
wonder,
couple.
how come no one's come for him after 23 hours?
Because nobody
Well,
cares. Because he didn't
Sam
tell
Cave
anybody.
resides on a 200-acre farm. There are several homes on this property with other families. One of them, of course, is Colin's house, where Floyd's father, Lee, resides. Now, Lee and Floyd constantly get into fights about how to run things. Lee wants his son to
Sure.
concentrate on farming, and Floyd wants to concentrate on cave tourism. Arguments were often heated. And Lee was
Gibberish.
also a bit of a drunk. It was doubtful that he would even notice if his son Floyd was missing. Also not helping things, Floyd regularly lodged at 2 other homes on the farm.
Oh.
So when he didn't return to one host,
He just
they would
assumed he was at
presume
the
that
other
he
one.
was staying
Yeah.
with the other. And,
Ew.
even worse
He
than
had
that,
2 homes?
he had recently spent 30 hours in
Fuck
a
this
cave.
cave.
So disappearing for this length of
recently.
time wasn't seen as abnormal. Regardless, around the 23-hour mark, a few locals started to suspect that, hey, something might be wrong, and they went to check up on him.
Oh, okay.
And here, they spotted his jacket still hung up. Unusual.
Just hung
They
up on
went
a
deep.
rock.
However, there was only one person small enough to make it as far as the turnaround room. This was a 17-year-old Jewel Estes. He refused to go into the
Hey,
street,
pose
but
for the
was
camera.
close enough to call Colin's name. Floyd!
Floyd!
And
Floyd!
Collins yelled back.
Yes.
Estes emerges from the cave.
Okay, we know he's trapped, and we know where he is.
So,
Okay, wow, that
we
was
start
quick.
together outside. Out of my way. Say a bunch of men
I thought it
who would
took
each
forever
show up
for him to-
and take turns heading into the cave in an attempt to reach Collins. But once they reached the turnaround room,
Nope. Nope.
Nope.
Nope.
they would fail to reach him.
They would
Emerging from the
fail.
cave, soaked in mud and cursing. Out of my way, they would say as they were heading in the reverse direction. As a few more hours passed, word would spread around town. Dozens of locals from Cave City started to gather outside.
Alright. Oh, caves. Oh, okay.
Over in Louisville, Floyd's 22-year-old brother,
Oh.
he gets a phone call.
Hello?
It's him. Alright.
I see.
I see where this is going.
My brother. He's trapped in a cave? I'm
Ow.
on my way.
I'll take the
Homer
case.
jumps on a coach and makes his way to Floyd's cave.
Floyd's cave sounds better than
Russ runs
Sand
up to the
Cave.
scene. Dozens of men are standing around outside.
Are they
He
dancing?
ignores them all and marches right into the cabin, still wearing his city clothes.
Why is there a dame
He
here?
makes his way in, down the chute, through the narrowing passages, down on his hands and knees towards the turnaround room. And when he arrives, he does not hesitate. He squeezes into the hole, scrambles his way through,
What a
and he
good
lands
brother.
on the other side. He sees Floyd below and slides down to meet him.
Floyd!
Floyd!
Probably
So,
wasn't that casual.
Oh, thank God you're here.
Homer took a moment to
What's up,
shine his
man?
light around the area and assess the situation.
yep.
It was not good.
Yeah, you're
This
fucked.
rock formation is going to prove almost impossible to work around.
Alright, time to go home.
All right, so let's have a look.
There he
Floyd
is.
is here. The
Yep,
rock
that's him.
is here,
Yep.
pinning his ankle. He's surrounded by rubble, and there's a pocket of gravel above him, ready to fall. However, because this opening is so small, there are only two viable ways of reaching Floyd and that gravel.
Dig into the
Option
gravel.
one, the most obvious, feet first. But if you do this,
Just drop down,
you have to
break
kind
both your
of
legs.
squat, and your own torso
Right.
obstructs access to the rubble.
Yep.
Otherwise, option two, come down head first.
Okay.
That will give you better access, but you're trying to move hundreds of pounds of gravel upside down. Worse yet, there's barely an inch around Collins on either side, so good luck getting your
Really?
arm down near Floyd's ankle to actually free him from the wedged rock. Homer calls back to the less daring rescuers standing behind him.
Quickly, some food and drink.
They
Oh,
set
shit!
He
Oh,
hand
for
feeds
him.
his brother a pint of coffee
I was
and a
hungry.
total of 9 sausage sandwiches.
God
Feeling
damn.
better?
Much better.
Then
Now he's
Homer
fatter,
went
so it's gonna be
task.
harder to get
He
him in.
began removing
Or out.
rocks and gravel, tiny scoop at a time, with the help of an old syrup can.
Oh, that's it? What a hero, this bucket. Or can. It's more like a bucket.
For the next 8 hours he toiled, first with hands, then, once enough was cleared, using a crowbar to scoop behind his brother, scraping away sharp protrusions as he went. It was slow progress. Virtually futile. As soon as he removed one rock or scoop of gravel, another would tumble from above
well, you have to
and
keep
land
going.
in the new absence. And it was exhausting work. By sunrise, Homer's arms and back were knackered.
Bye.
His lungs burned. He was losing hope. Homer emerged hours later, shivering violently, skin bruised from his fingertips. But the cave barely yielded at all.
It looks like a
However,
pair of lips.
something
I
new.
don't like it.
By the time Homer reached outside,
That's the
he was
shape.
greeted by a sea of approximately 100 men and women.
Oh, yeah,
standing
right there,
around,
music.
drinking,
Wanna build a house?
squabbling, and talking big game about how they too were going to save
House building, so.
Floyd. The press was also present to help people gawk from afar. Now, Homer recuperated at a small tent near the cave's mouth.
Okay.
Strangers
assuming these are
immediately
real
crowded
locations
around
he's
him
showing,
to
or
ask
is he-
innocent but, frankly,
assuming so.
frustrating questions and offer unsolicited, obvious advice, as well as wildly impractical solutions. He should try untying his shoes, said one.
Yeah, that's
No,
it.
we should send him down with a contortionist who's got a mallet and a chisel. We should jerk him off, right, guys? All right, I made that third guy up, but you get the idea. And they started to argue with each other about the plans.
Guys.
Hey, how about using dynamite? One
I had used dynamite in prior weeks to clear out.
clique
Okay.
formed, insisting that it was a great idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And
Blow him
another
up.
saying, No. The explosion will kill him, and the weight of the new rocks
No
will
shit.
surely crush him. They fought for a while until they started arguing about gas torches, which will cook him or asphyxiate him, or the gas will poison
Yeah, it's gonna.
him. But by
Yeah.
far the most common suggestion, of course, was amputation. Never mind that the foot itself was unreachable, and never
Yeah,
mind
how
what the
the
blood loss and shock would do to Floyd's weakened body, and never minding even more that Floyd was strongly reluctant to the idea.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, don't cut my foot off.
Return
All
the
of the
slab.
squad would not-
Hey, go back.
Don't cut my foot off.
Yeah, you hear him laugh at the end. I love when you hear someone laugh during the
Not-
take. God damn, look how long this video is.
Have gotten on Homer's nerves. Except that not one of them would just brave the damn cave and continue shoveling away the gravel. The formula was always
So they
the
all
same.
blow it up and cut his leg off. That's fine. How you even gonna get to the fucking leg?
Brave heroes go in with food and supplies, then reach the turnaround room and
No.
immediately lose their nerve, then
Fuck
dump
that.
the food just outside the hole, and then return
yeah.
back outside and go, oh, absolutely. No, he says, thanks for the food. Thank you so much. Yum.
No, they didn't.
No one would go through that.
Are you
food.
fucking kidding?
Dozens
That's
of
the
men would
hole?
try. All of
Can't fit my dick through that.
Thank you.
It's just small. It's just-
February 2nd, 9 a.m. So far, Homer has been the only person to have reached Floyd. And that would continue to be true until here we are at the
Oh, shit.
Louisville Courier.
All right,
There's
who
a
we got?
spirited young
Oh,
newswalker named
William
William
Miller.
Miller.
There he is.
He's talking to his boss, and he's trying to convince him that it's a great idea for him to cover the story of the man trapped in the cave.
Listen up, boss. I'm hearing talk of a man in a cave. He's stuck down there, and I want to get down there too.
That means cave.
Gritty, you hear?
This is an opportunity for some good PR, Miller. I'm in. But I want us to sponsor that
Why does it look
rescue.
like fatter
It's this.
Dark Side
Man
Phil?
saved from cave by Louisville Courier, the finest newspaper in the state. That'll drum up plenty of business.
24-carat idea, boss. I'll make it happen. I'll get down there
I
too.
like the voice
Sweet.
acting.
So off
Toot
Miller
sweet.
goes to Floyd's cave.
Why are you talking like that? Which one character would say that?
Back over at the cave,
Why are you
Homer
talking
is sitting
like that? You
outside
okay?
trying to recuperate. As Miller
You having a
wanders up,
stroke?
he glares at the man in his city clothes
This Lord of the Rings?
and answers every question with either a grunt or a one-word answer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Sure.
Finally, he gestures to Sand Cave.
Listen, you want more information? The hole's right behind me. Why don't you go take a look yourself?
Now, Miller is only 21, but he is a slender and determined man. He takes on the challenge. So he removes his suit, drapes himself in coveralls, and grabs
goes,
a
look at
lamp. Miller slowly enters the cave. He finds himself stepping in puddles and having to correct his balance against the ever-softening walls. These were accumulating problems thanks to the gawkers outside who had lit campfires all around the entrance. That caused snowmelt, and the stable environment of the cave is starting to shift. But Miller makes it further than most.
Fucking
And
hell.
all that's left is that final squeeze, and he's there. He
He
stops.
says, nope.
He takes a moment and decides to call out to Floyd.
Floyd!
Hearing there is someone on the other side, he
Hey.
feels ashamed not to
Hey.
try. So he closes his
Did it?
eyes and moves forward. His slender
Hey,
figure
Chad.
begins inching through. The crystal gypsum cuts into his elbows and tugs at his clothes.
No, he has
He
to go
gets
dick
snagged.
first, too.
He's spluttering through the pools of muddy water. He stops, collects himself,
Oh, is he gonna be stuck?
and pushes on.
Okay.
He can barely inhale. If he gets stuck in here, he can only hope that someone else can come in from behind and pull him out by the legs. But eventually, he makes it through. Fantastic. He's now standing on the edge of a
This is like my
10-foot pit,
nightmare.
and he
I'm
clumsily
not even
bubbles his way
claustrophobic,
out.
but it's still my nightmare.
He sat right next to Floyd, ready to interview him. But Floyd didn't really answer any of his questions.
Oh, what the
In
fuck?
fact, he was incoherent.
Oh, no.
At the moment, he is sitting in a pool of water that is 12 degrees, slowly sapping his body temperature.
Oh,
He is
wow.
dying from exposure. The cold is diminishing Floyd's
Yeah,
mental
yeah,
faculties,
yeah.
and he can barely make sentences. So Miller took a few mental notes, and he left. He worked his way back through
Did you
the
bring him
squeeze,
food at least?
past the turnaround room,
Did he have food with him?
and out
I don't know.
into the daylight. He is covered in mud and scratches and numb head to toe. And when Homer saw, his hope reignited. Someone else had made it to Floyd.
You and me. Together, we can
Forever.
get Floyd out of there.
Alright, cool.
If Miller hadn't gone to that cave, there's a good chance that Floyd's story would have remained an obscure footnote in the back pages. But the interviews and first-person accounts gave the audience a glimpse of something real.
I love the stock
Fear,
image guys they
hope,
use.
desperation, the full range. And so from Los Angeles to New York, Floyd's story was picked up everywhere and described the Kentucky man's plight in sensational detail. It was also the era when radio became a regular feature for regular Americans. Radio allowed something new, hourly updates, letting people get engrossed into the story. So, mostly thanks to Miller, the story of Floyd over the next week would grow
Hell
and
yeah.
grow, seemingly frothing over into every aspect of American life.
I mean,
the press
not
at
hell yeah,
large
he's
would be
still stuck in a
clamoring
cave.
over each other for
Hey,
every
we're nowhere
little
near
extra
done
scrap of
with the
detail
story.
they could get about Floyd. And everybody wanted to know, will this man make it?
I'm gonna guess
Back
no.
outside the cave, someone new
I have a feeling this story's gonna be tragic.
enters the scene. Lieutenant Robert Burden.
Robert
a thin but
Burden.
strong 33-year-old
His name's
Louisville
Burden.
firefighter. Like Miller, he was able to navigate the passages of the cave
Oh.
and brave the squeeze.
Oh yeah.
Scratched up pretty good and drenched in cold, muddy water, he managed to get through.
I love the clothing
He
that he
grabbed
has
the
them
rope
wear.
and confidently lowered himself to Floyd's position.
Most
It was
impractical
not
shit to
an
wear.
optimistic sight. Floyd's condition was deteriorating.
Well, we've got a heck of a problem here, but I think I can get you out with a rope.
Floyd nods in approval.
Go on.
We might just pull your bloody leg off.
Just pull my leg off then. Get me out of here.
Burden returned to the surface and faced the crowd. He announced.
We will attempt a rope pull.
The crowd murmured. It was dangerous. It would certainly break his foot and could altogether pull it off. If there are jagged rocks, you'll fill it, the poor man. Amongst the crowd, a doctor stepped forward. A rope pull could stretch his internal organs and cause them to rupture. You'll kill him. But Floyd is dying of exposure down there.
Oh.
The situation is becoming
I
desperate.
hate this.
Burden put caution to the side.
The time for strategy is over. Now we try brute force.
Okay. There was no strategy. Let's cut his leg off. Let's blow him up. What a strategy. One guy went down there to fucking pull some rocks off of him. Strategy. What the fuck? Oh, this is a supernatural story. I get you. What is this, Cthulhu? What the fuck? What's happening? Yeah, he's just losing his mind, I think. What the fuck? No, it's not even October yet. Oh no, it's Hellraiser now. We have such sights to show you.
Floyd! Floyd! We're here. We're gonna get you out of here.
After 79 hours in the cold water, he is delirious, fading in and out
That was
of
pretty good.
consciousness. Homer gave his brother some coffee and fed him a couple of
Coffee?
ham sandwiches.
Oh.
That warms him up and gives him a bit more energy, and he comes back to lucidity.
Oh, much better.
Oh,
Gonna
I'm fine
put
now.
the special harness around you. Burden and Miller. They're here too. We got 3 more boys right up the cave.
Why don't you just keep
and they're all
grabbing
ready to
rocks
pull
and
as
shit?
hard as they can to get you out of here.
Floyd was
Yeah, he's
frightened.
tired, but
I'm not
like,
gonna lie. It's gonna hurt.
He gave his brother some whiskey and a strong sedative to calm his nerves, and also to help him withstand the shock in case his foot is destroyed. Floyd took the opportunity to appreciate being surrounded by friends and family.
Go on.
I have a feeling you'll appreciate it in a second.
Do it.
All right, strap him up.
Alright.
Homer tied the harness around Colin's chest and knotted the rope.
This is a nightmare.
Ready?
How is this another
Miller
40
is
minutes
crouched
long?
at the top of the pit.
Ready?
Burden clenches the cord from further up the cave.
3,
The rope goes taut.
2,
Do it.
1.
Oh!
I don't want to see it.
In Instinctively, Floyd gasps. The force of 6 men pulled against the clutches of the cave. Floyd began to scream. His body was being pulled up from the rock. The gravel was beginning to shift. Burden clenched his teeth. Floyd screamed harder as well. Now, Floyd was trapped in a supine position, but the direction of the rope caused an upwards force that wrenched him vertically. His torso was being compressed and bent against the ceiling.
God damn it, Floyd.
It would kill him. Floyd's screaming intensified, and through gasps was begging them to stop.
Stop, stop,
The
stop,
screams
stop,
filled the echoing
stop!
cave, but it did not stop. The
Stop!
agony continued. On and on, with no progress.
Oh my
Enough!
God.
Enough! You guys are killing him!
Homer pulled in the opposite direction to give his brother some reprieve.
Thank you.
Somehow, Homer mustered the strength to altogether wrench the cord from the other man's
Oh
hand.
shit.
The rope went slack. Homer, Floyd, and the rope lay limp on the cave floor, panting and exhausted.
Oh.
No progress had been made.
Oh. Fuck off.
The cave would not let this man go. The futility of the situation sank in, and all they could do was leave for now and reassess. Everybody was shaken by the experience. Burden fainted as he crawled towards the exit. Most of the other men had to be carried away. Outside, the crowd had grown to 200. They buzzed and asked useless questions, and Homer walked dejectedly past them. He sat by thinking what he could do. The cause seemed hopeless.
Homer?
Then, someone showed up
Oh,
who could
who's
turn
this
things
Chad?
around. He looked up to see a childhood friend of both his and Floyd's,
Oh.
Johnny Gerald.
Johnny Gerald.
Gerald knew more about cave rescues than most. In fact, just that summer prior, he had helped untangle Floyd from a different snag. He was just the man for the job.
All right, let me go see him. Well, look who it is.
Floyd
Look who it
perked up
is. How come you're not talking like a
thrilled to see Gerald.
His face.
Let's see what we can do.
Gerald jumped down. For the next 3 hours, Gerald went back to the original plan of prying away rocks.
That's what they
His
should have fucking
stamina
done.
was good, and progress was surprisingly good as well. For several more hours, he continued, just moving stone after stone. New one would fall in this place, and he'd move that one too. By midnight, he had enough room to shift position and clear some of the gravel that was at each side of Floyd's body. Gerald would spend several more hours scooping.
If you get enough of it out of there, you might be able to pull him out too. I know
was now available. Then his hips, his upper thigh. For the first time in over 90 hours, Floyd was able to wiggle his arms, his hips, and even that trapped right leg, though it was very painful to do. In that one session, Gerald managed to move a half-ton of
God
rock.
damn!
There was still a lot more to go. And that rock by his foot was still holding him in place. By 2 a.m., Gerald was spent. He needed rest, and he was ready to head back outside.
Oh.
Floyd, tomorrow you're gonna be a free man.
That's
Now,
a
here
word you
might
say
think
before
that things will
someone
become
tragically dies.
straightforward. They did not. Now that space had been cleared, Burden became convinced that if he could get down that passage again, he could free Floyd with another rope pull, fate deciding with both feet or just one. But when Burden tried to enter the cave
Like a
again,
pulling rope
he was
harness.
sternly rebuffed by the locals. They were playing gatekeeper. They had been specifically instructed to not let anyone in, and they were especially opposed to Burden making another rope pull after word spread about the disaster of the first attempt.
Yeah.
He tried to reason with them.
Let me try the rope pull again. It'll work this time.
Yeah,
They
come
wouldn't
on.
allow. Instead,
It'll
they
work.
shouted obscenities and shoved him in the other
Yeah.
direction.
You fucker. That's probably what they said back then. I don't know.
Meanwhile, Gerald and
You
Homer are
fucker.
incapacitated with exhaustion, and Miller was busy filing some paperwork for the Louisville Courier.
Right.
Nobody else had the ability or the authority to take action, so Floyd spent all of that morning alone.
Hello? Is anyone there?
No, you're all alone,
Help?
sir. Enjoy the silence of God.
Anyone out there?
Hour 100.
Word spread about
Almost
Floyd.
at 127
Miller's reporting
hours.
had been
Can you
picked
beat
up
the
by
record?
AP Newswire, and they distributed it amongst their hundreds of partnered newspapers. For Miller, it would be the biggest moment of his career. But he didn't stop to pay it mind. He spent the day hatching a rescue plan. Miller descended into the cave and set to work. When he entered, he found that the team before him had strung light bulbs all through the cavern, leading all the way down to Floyd. Very handy. A bulb was also put around Floyd's neck to keep him warm and make sure that he was never again left in the dark. Miller popped down to Floyd.
Hope no one crushes that and then glass gets in his
Floyd,
face.
fancy seeing you here, buddy.
Reusing that syrup tin, he
Fancy
started
seeing you
offloading
here.
gravel into
I bet
buckets.
they said that
Those
once.
buckets
too.
were then passed up.
I bet
and
legit
down
that
the
was like a
cavern.
real thing someone
And
said.
so it went on for the next 2 hours. Miller stopped for a break. He took some bread, milk, and whiskey.
And ate
And
it right
sharing
in
it
front of
with
him.
Floyd, they started to get to talking. Floyd had been in that cave
Will
for
you marry
over
me?
100 hours now. And seeing
And
everyone
they-
working
one
together,
of three.
Floyd
I have to keep paying attention to the top
was
level.
overcome with a sense of hope and relief. And so he began spilling his heart out to Miller.
Literally, because he just got
Here is
crushed.
what he is quoted
And
in the
his guts are
newspaper.
everywhere. Sad day.
I believed I would go to heaven. I can feel that I'm to be taken out alive and with both my feet. I kept thinking, what would happen if the rock above me would fall? It caused me to shudder. I kept thinking to drive my mind to something else, but it wasn't much use. I couldn't do much to help those who came to help me, but I knew that a lot of people were willing to do all in their power. It gave me courage. Tuesday morning, I thought to myself, 4 days down here, and no nearer freedom than I was on the first day. How will it end? Will I get out? I couldn't think of it. I have faced death before. It doesn't frighten me, but it is so long. Tell them I am not going to give up. Tell them I'm going to fight and be patient and never forget them.
I'm gonna assume he probably died.
Meanwhile, Floyd's story
That's my
kept
guess.
growing. Pedestrians would gather around corner store windows to read the latest bulletins. The press began using giant typefaces, commonly
Yeah,
only
my
reserved
God.
for declarations of war. Churches in all of the nearby counties were holding services.
Can we
for
stop
Floyd.
talking about war?
Theaters
We need to
even
think about our
interrupted
boy
their shows
Floyd.
to update the
Where's our
audience.
boy Floyd?
Now, at the time, President Coolidge was in
Calvin
charge,
Coolidge.
and his Secretary of Commerce was a geologist, Herbert Hoover. Now, Mr. Hoover followed the story very closely, and so it was likely that the president did too. Even Congress paused session
And Herbert
to ask
Hoover
about the
and
latest
Coolidge
news
showed
from
up
Sandcave.
to save him.
By the end, the Floyd Collins incident would explode into the third largest non-political story between World War I
That's crazy.
and World
That's
War
actually
II.
insane considering I've never
All
heard of
this
this at all, but
brought
I'm
an
also not
inundation
over
of
100
people
years
to
old,
Cave
so...
City. Old population, 690. Yawn. New population, 10,000.
God
Hotels
damn!
ran out of food. Residents turned their
Well, he got
homes
what he
into
wanted.
makeshift
That's what I was gonna say.
hotels.
I was gonna say that earlier, is that he'll get what he wants. He'll make people, tourists, want to show up. It's just not gonna be the way he wanted it to be. So he got what he wanted, just not exactly the way he wanted it to go down.
Charging sizable premiums to let people nap in their bathtubs. The banks quickly ran out of
idea.
on-hand cash, and 4,500 automobiles
nice little
impatiently sat,
tub bed.
backed up for 2 miles from 20 different states to drive onto the Collins farm and turn their pristine green pastures into swampy parking lots. Deep below all those tourists, there's Miller, trying to free Floyd.
Jesus, I feel for Floyd.
All right,
He's gonna, if he lives, he's gonna get out and his entire farm's gonna be destroyed. That's great. That's fucking great.
a little bit of setup.
I feel like people were just horrible people back then. Like we still have horrible people now, but I feel like everybody was terrible back
Floyd,
then.
Miller, some remaining rubble, rock. For anyone to lift the rock by hand would be impossible because Floyd's body obstructs the hole. Miller grabs a crowbar and shoves it through the gap. Now he's going to lever it off Floyd's foot. Cool. The crowbar is now wedged against the rock. Next, he takes a jack. He positions it on top of the crowbar so that it will be forced against the ceiling.
Okay.
However, problem. That jack is too big. It doesn't fit.
Fuck. They're
Miller
gonna get a new
yells up the
jack.
tunnel for a smaller one, but this took some time. And when it arrived, too small, won't reach the ceiling. But instead of sending for another one, Miller takes 2 blocks of wood and bolsters them underneath the
all
crowbar.
that wood in this cave.
Right, so the crowbar now sits higher,
brought
it
it down,
fulcrums against the blocks, and the jack is sitting on top. All Miller has to do is expand the jack, which he will do using this spanner, holding it at the very tips of his fingers. Sounds easy. It's not.
It's not.
But that's the plan. Let's get him out of there. He turned the wrench. The jack expanded, and the crowbar took strain. The whole thing slid apart with a pang. Floyd wasn't hurt, but Miller was contorting and exerting his whole body from back to fingertip. They tried again. Same result.
Oh, fuck.
Miller tried a new angle. Maybe this time. The jack pressed. The tension increased. And this time, the rock moved. It fucking moved. With each turn, the stone shifted a little more. Miller's hands shook with adrenaline, his face and body dripping with sweat. Pang. One of the blocks slipped, and the wooden tower went sideways. The rock painfully slammed back down on Colin's foot.
Fuck!
You'll get it next time, Miller. Try again.
Miller did. Again. And again. Adding blocks, taking them away, new crowbar position, changed the jack position, every angle, all while Floyd was there, cheering him on.
Yay! I'll give you applause.
For the next 4 hours he tried.
We're getting that close at
No
127.
progress. Miller was exhausted. He couldn't do this on his own.
Yeah,
but
where's
he was
his brother?
the only one slim enough to get in through the gap.
How about one?
The group decided to concede for now and return to the surface. They would take just a small break,
the firefighter.
but it looked to everyone like there was a clear way to get this man out. So Miller and Burden crawled back through the mud and the wines of the cave. As they made their way through, the cave was visibly sagging. The ceiling seemed lower. Parts were harder to navigate than before, especially now with their bruised and purple hands. But they made it outside to the fresh, early morning air. And here is where they're greeted with a new sight. Dozens of soldiers. The National Guard had arrived. In addition to the National Guard, a new figure was joining the story.
Are they gonna fucking take over?
Henry Carmichael. Now, Carmichael was the general superintendent of the Kentucky Rock Asphalt Company. He had been on site since Tuesday, and he was appalled at how primitive the rescue attempts
Or crack, I guess.
had been.
I'm gonna say K-Rack.
Shortly after Miller and Co. had exited, Carmichael sent 2 men into Sand Cave to assess
They look
the
trustworthy and not
stability.
stupid as hell. Look at
They soon came back with a report.
papers. Hey, he was there
It was
earlier.
not good. Near the final squeeze, large cracks had formed. The ceiling was beginning to droop. All right, so the following is a recounting of events from one of Carmichael's men, Casey Jones. Casey and another worker
All right.
about an hour in the cave, surveying its condition, looking at the boards,
Please use Casey Jones.
the ceiling, the stability of the walls.
TMNT.
He continued deeper towards Floyd. He was fighting against his nerves. The shifting of the rock pinged his every instinct to flee. But he heard Collins moaning ahead, so he pushed himself on. He managed to make it through the squeeze, and he arrived at the
What a
10-foot pit.
Chad.
Seeing Floyd trapped, he tried to ignore the pebbles that were tumbling behind him.
Please, come down.
Come down.
I can't right now, Floyd. I will when I get back.
Behind Casey, his partner is begging to leave. Below Casey, Collins is pleading for help.
Please, I'm so thirsty.
Okay.
Casey slid headfirst into the pit and hastily ladled Floyd some coffee. But Floyd rejected it. Rumbling intensified from above.
What do you mean?
And in that moment, Casey realized that this was not a plea for sustenance. Floyd knew that a cave-in was inevitable. Scared and approaching his 5th day trapped, he was completely at his wit's end. He knew he was about to be trapped in that cave, and he didn't want to be trapped alone.
For God's sake, Casey, come on, you'll get us killed.
Stay with me, please. Don't leave.
Casey looked into Colin's eyes, set the coffee down, and pulled himself out of the pit.
Wow.
He wiggled underneath the sagging ceiling and crawled towards the turnaround room as fast as his limbs could scramble against the cave walls. He
I don't
looked
play
back
it.
to
I
see
don't.
the passage closing like a maw.
Oh.
Reflections from the bulb shining around Floyd's neck were no longer visible. Instead, just sobs could be heard, muffled from behind the rocks.
Oh no, we're gonna go fast. No.
Miller and Burton awoke in the late morning, confident that today would be the day that they saved Floyd. They had some new equipment too. Some wire to wrap around the wooden blocks to prevent them from slipping. And they changed their mind about that acetylene torch. They'll use it to burn away 2 rocks that had previously blocked their way. But when Miller got to the turnaround room, all of that optimism left him. The entrance to the squeeze was now just a pile of debris. Miller froze, staring at it for a long while. Then he sighed and did the only thing he could think.
He started digging?
Attempt to move some of the stones.
What a...
But each adjustment led to more
he wants
rocks
that news
just
story,
tumbling
obviously,
down
but
and
still.
landing in that space. He persisted until... crash. A large chunk of clay landed onto his feet. Recognizing the danger, Miller returned to the surface. 15 minutes later, he emerged from the cave with a bloodied up nose and bruises down his back and shoulders.
Damn. He got hit so hard in the foot that he had a bloody nose.
Sight and races over to him.
All the blood
Miller
squeezed
just says,
up into his head.
For God's sake, just don't let
Like a toothpaste roll.
Homer or anyone else back in there. Now, he didn't actually need to worry about Homer going back in there because he was sidelined with illness.
Oh, no!
But he did, however, need to worry about Gerald, because he was furious. Gerald had warned everyone that putting dozens of people in Sand Cave would cause a collapse. It certainly did.
Yeah,
the rest of that day would be wasted.
That's not even a real mustache. Fake ass
motherfucker.
motherfucker.
Each other about how to handle
Oh,
the
there you go,
cave.
Peaky Blinders. Look, I just put him in there.
And Floyd spent the rest of that day alone.
Oh, come on, put 127. Oh.
The surveyors continued checking the cave throughout the day. By the evening, Carmichael had ordered everyone to an assembly. Gerald took the floor. He was going to try one last daring rescue. He boldly announced his plan and an ultimatum.
Listen up. There's death down there. The walls and ceilings are crumbling.
This is legit
Unless you're
quotes,
determined to take the biggest chance you ever took in your life, tell me now and stay outside.
Next, they told all the Gorkas to get the fuck out of the cave, clear off. And over the next 8 hours, Gerald would enter and leave Sand Cave at least 5 times, chipping away at that pile of debris. In the woods, men sawed trees and chopped logs to shore up the cave walls. Underground, the crew reinforced cracks and wobbling boulders with fresh strips of wood. Gerald assessed that about 4 barrels of rocks would need to be moved, and piece by piece, they made that happen. Steadily, they managed to move enough rock to allow Gerald to get within earshot of Floyd.
Hey, hello? I need food.
Bad news. We can't reach you. But hold on. We're coming.
The lip
Stone by
laugh there, I don't know
stone,
why.
they continued. After a few hours,
Bad
the light
news.
of the bulb around Floyd's neck was peeking through.
Oh.
A couple more hours, enough room for Gerald to squeeze through.
Yes.
Okay, that's enough. Floyd, I'm going for now. But when I get back, I'm gonna get you out of there.
Exhausted but still determined,
Oh, yeah.
Gerald crawled back up the cave
Good-ass
and
friend.
marched to the men huddling outside.
Gather the equipment.
I said,
and in
yeah, I feel bad saying everybody back then was a piece of shit, but everybody that we've been really focusing on has been trying to help them.
an hour's time, it's gonna be me and Floyd coming
know what I mean?
out
I
of
mean,
that
like,
cave.
A lot of other people just didn't give a fuck. Oh, I want to be here
Gerald
because
entered Sand
there was no excitement back then. So, excitement! I can't wait. Something to talk to the girls about.
Cave for his final time. The walls had been reinforced, but mud and water was accumulating everywhere. He waded through it and pressed on past the danger of the sagging ceiling.
That's a good
With
friend.
determination on his face and a grease gun clutched in his right hand, he scrambled
greasy
towards Floyd.
All right.
But before the final squeeze, he stopped. It was all gone.
Are you
The
fucking?
cave ceiling had crumbled once again. Gerald stared motionlessly at the pile. Then he began to yell.
Floyd!
A rock disconnected from the ceiling and tumbled onto Gerald's head.
Oh,
Luckily,
fuck!
just a small one. He rubbed his scalp and called out again.
Floyd!
This time, a moan. It rumbled from the other side. Fearing that his friend was slipping out of consciousness, Gerald willed himself against the cave, launching the debris behind him.
Oh
with
my
force.
God.
He ignored the pain from being struck on the head and clawed at the stone pile. He carried on this way for several minutes
His ass probably has a
until a
concussion
sharp,
too.
heavy rock dropped from the ceiling and landed squarely on his back.
Fuck.
No more than 15 minutes later, Gerald returned to the surface, defeated.
Oh.
Only after the cave-ins did they start to think about all
This
of the
is
things
captivating.
that they could have done.
Wait, why didn't we rig a portable telephone line? That would have been incredibly simple here in 1925.
Yeah, why have we been running in and out to deliver updates?
Why didn't we give him an AM radio? He could have had something to
Yeah,
listen to.
he could have had so many other things he could have done down there to keep his mind off of dying.
Received messages of support from the public.
Wait, why don't we rig up a tarpaulin so we could lift his torso up so he wouldn't be slowly dying of exposure? Oh God, why didn't we run a feeding tube? That's also a technology we have in 1925.
All too late. Now what? The one route
I'm going to assume nobody said that.
get to Floyd is closed forever. That meant two options. Number one, capitulation. Surrender him
Cave
to the
wins.
cave.
The
Or
sacrifice.
number two,
We dig?
dig down from directly above Floyd. Now, the prospect of digging from above seemed almost fanciful.
Yeah.
At least, it did in the beginning. But luckily, they had some help. Owing to Miller's reporting, Floyd had become practically the most famous person in the country.
How
The
did I
rescue
hear about
had
this
become a
motherfucker?
high priority for the governor of Kentucky.
Well, there he is.
Lieutenant General Denhart enters the scene. He's been updated on the situation, and following shortly behind him is a small army of miners and engineers. He declared to the despondent
Look
crowd,
at the same dude.
"Gentlemen, I am
Look like
here
Tony
on behalf
Soprano,
of
what the fuck?
governor. The purse strings of Kentucky are open. Take this blank check and bring that man out alive."
Don't give it to a little kid. I'll make a shitty movie
Floyd
with it.
in that cold, wet
that I watched all the time
confines
as a
could
kid
not
because
have
I'm a fucking
imagined
moron.
the scale of the operation that was going on 55 feet above him. Authorities assumed control of Colin's rescue.
I love Internet Story and style.
Denhart gave
I love it.
Henry Carmichael the lead to dig, and Carmichael raced to get to work. He enlisted his employees, his fleet of expensive high-tech machinery.
I still don't see this ending well for our boy Floyd.
Professional groups were
Oh,
brought
there's a highlight. I see it. We're getting
in from
close.
all across the state. Local townspeople were mostly excluded, and for the first time since Collins had been trapped, work was now about to go ahead in a systematic manner. Everyone knew the plan, everyone had something to do, and everyone was working fast. But just as
148.
hopes were rising, they were once again dashed against the rocks.
What happened?
They had all of this state-of-the-art machinery shipped in and assembled by the
They
engineers,
all break
rearing to
down or
go,
some shit.
and it was all worthless. See, the problem is the cave drew air into it. These diesel-powered engines pumped out enormous volumes of choking exhaust.
Oh, so just kill him.
Within a
Good.
day's operation, the cave would be filled with carbon monoxide, and Floyd would be dead from asphyxiation. Just as quickly as solutions would arise, the cave
think about
would
this.
carry them away.
God
It
damn.
refused to let this man go.
Dude, the cave, I swear to God, the cave should talk at one point. With the look, you can't have him, he's mine.
So engineers and miners had wasted hours assembling
It's either lips, the shape of the entrance, or it's a sideways vahoo. I don't know.
everything, only to realize that they had to pack it all up and cart it away. Because the digging of a 55-foot shaft would be done with picks and shovels.
Wow. Oh, but
Carmichael
what
didn't know
happened
much
now?
about caves.
Are them digging into it like that a good? Is that a good idea? I don't know. Would that cause a cave in? Maybe if you're like, yeah, wouldn't it? I don't know. I don't
He
know
knew a
anything.
lot about quarrying. and he estimated that his team of 75 volunteers could dig and dredge at a rate of 2 feet per hour. If they worked around the clock, they would be digging directly into the spot where Floyd lays within 30 hours. Now, was it possible that Floyd could survive for another 30 hours? Absolutely.
No.
Let's go.
Oh, absolutely.
The first ton was moved, and at first it was easy
Is
work.
there somebody
Just dirt
there to make sure he's even alive, like just to talk to him?
and clay.
Because you can still hear him, right, if you're near the cave entrance.
Carmichael understood well that this was a race against time, so he watched the men closely, and if they seemed to be slowing down, even a little, they would be yanked out, and immediately a new worker subbed in. Nonetheless, the pace slowed. By 10 feet, the shaft narrowed greatly, which meant that only 2 men could work at a time. At 15 feet, they hit boulders. Pickaxes went in, and a system of pulleys and buckets had to be used to cart the rock out. Tracks were even laid to ferry the refuse to a dump site. Time passed.
This is real pictures, I said. I
Hours
mean, if
passed.
it was like the most popular thing at the time, I'm not surprised that there's so many pictures now.
Night went to day. The day was hot. This was yet another problem, because it's early February, there's tons of ice still in the ground, and its exposure to the fresh midday sun meant that the walls of the shaft were softening, and the ground becoming sodden. The pace of digging slowed. It was now only half a foot per hour.
Oh,
Most anyone could do was watch helplessly on the sidelines and pray. Interestingly, though, there were a lot of people on the sidelines. Floyd wouldn't have believed that the space above him had turned into a literal carnival.
oh, fuck! I hate humans. I hate them. I really do.
In his
Peaky Blinders is still there, but
honor, vendors showed up to sell hamburgers, hot dogs, and
Fuck
souvenirs.
you!
Families sprawled out over blankets.
fuck
to
you!
listen to hymns.
I hope your kids get. I hope they're all dead anyway.
Was from local church groups. The local mountebanks sold moonshine and miracle cures. There was even a
Miracle cures to what? Caves?
bloody juggler. And old man Lee was
Juggler.
there, walking around, shaking his jaw.
Oh yeah, there's his
and
dad. I
soliciting
forgot about his dad.
donations.
Where's his brother? Is he
But
okay?
where were Homer and Bert
Yeah, there you go.
and
Thank
Miller
you.
during all of this? Okay, let's back up a bit. People did not
Are they gonna say Homer died or something?
probably understand exactly how Floyd was trapped, and the news didn't help much either. So the obvious question started to arise.
This is
Why
Floyd
hasn't he
trapped in-
been rescued yet? Just clear some gravel.
I don't know if you realize this, but he's trapped in a cave.
Oh, right, how is this so hard?
How is this so
Motive was
hard?
attributed.
I heard they didn't even want to have him rescued at all. I heard that they're doing all of this for publicity.
Yeah.
And Lee's activity of soliciting donations, remember from before, further inflamed rumors.
I bet Floyd isn't even trapped in there.
These were all real rumors, and they
Wow.
got worse.
You know what? I've heard he comes out at night, and then he just goes back in the morning.
Fuck you.
Other rumors
Oh my
included-
god.
I heard that after Floyd went into the cave, someone murdered him.
Others said,
I think they're withholding food and water from him so he dies.
this whole
Wag the
thing is a fraud.
No, no,
As
no.
time went on, it was harder and harder to ignore the hoax
Oh,
claims.
fuck.
Then, people started to form righteous mobs, claiming the whole thing was a fraud, and they
Righteous
started
mobs.
to get nasty. In fact, 2 people even went to the telegraph office and pretended to be Floyd, sending telegraph.
Floyd's mother died years prior. Since then, his father, Lee, had remarried a younger woman. Floyd and his stepmother got along well, but he did not see her in a parental way. The forger had no understanding of their family structure and just went with mother. Okay, so.
To his mother. Here's what it said. Quote, "Please contradict statements that I am buried alive in Sand Cave. Stop. Tell mother I am all right. Stop. Am coming home.
I'm
Stop.
coming home.
Floyd Collins."
Stop.
Naturally, the
Right.
AP published these telegrams unquestioningly, and now word is out to the press that he isn't actually in the cave after all.
Yeah.
That made the authorities look foolish. And it
So
could
they
not go on.
stopped?
So, a hasty court-martial was arranged, and Homer, Miller, and Gerald were summoned. They hold one session on Monday and another on
He's
Tuesday.
fucking in there. I don't know what
Lee
to tell
and
you.
everyone else is cleared of charges. A retraction is written, and things carry on.
Faking it, Lamau even. I don't know even.
Generators
Good
run.
lord, 30
Pumps
hours my
churned
ass.
out water.
He's dead.
Men
There's no
continued
way he's
working.
alive. There's no way. 228 hours? I'm assuming they've been getting him food somehow?
In shifts,
I don't know how. There's no way.
and carrying away the earth. Here they are with strips of lumber to shore up the walls. They were only 25 feet down. The pace had slowed to 4 inches per hour. In their desperation, they resorted to dynamite.
No, that's a fuck brilliant idea.
Little to the
Right,
boulders.
right. I'm sure when they get to him, he's gonna be crushed.
Despite all these bleak
Are they talking?
circumstances, people's spirits were high because everyone was keen for their turn to dig.
Oh, fuck off.
And because they had one more thing to latch onto.
Yeah.
He is probably still alive. Now, how do they know that? Okay, so remember that light bulb around Floyd's neck?
Yeah.
Well, it's powered by a simple copper wire. Their copper wire is subject to very minute fluctuations in resistance.
Oh.
So, an engineer rigs up a radio amplifier to this wire to read the current and see those small fluctuations.
So they did this, but they didn't give him like a radio to listen to, or like a way to eat, or they
Yeah,
did
they-
this though. This they did.
Well, about 20 per minute. The
Okay.
rate of steady breathing.
Right.
As his chest expands and contracts, they can read it from this device.
There's gonna be a twist or something. Not,
And so, they kept going. And going. And going. 30 hours was the original estimate. Now 144 hours
Oh.
had come and gone, and they were only at 44 feet.
That's a little bit better than I thought.
Then, rain fell.
Oh,
Rain
great.
mixed with dirt to make mud, much of which then froze to make ice. Ice which expanded and damaged the integrity of the shaft walls. Slowing down with every hour, they continued.
Yo, God hates. Dude, are you
Many
fucking
more
kidding? He's
hours
dead.
passed,
There's
and they
no
were
way he's
getting
alive.
close. But it was now 15 days since Floyd was first stuck in that
How?
cave, and people had mostly lost hope. That excitement in the newspapers
Oh,
was
fuck.
tempering down. Visitors began clearing out from Cave
Really?
City.
I would be on the edge of my seat every day. Like, is he alive?
Held on to hope, but their final lifeline, that light bulb, had burnt out. And it wasn't possible to do any more readings on the radio amplifier without it. No one knew if Floyd was still alive. Another 51 hours would pass before, finally, they reached the 60-foot depth.
And they're in the wrong area.
I'm in. Chisel.
A chisel was handed down at 1:30 p.m. on Monday, February 16th. Sand Cave would open once again. For 17 days, Floyd had been trapped underground, stuck in the same position. 4 days without heat or light. 12 without food or water.
He's dead. There's no way he's alive.
But maybe the dripping of the cave water had provided him with some sustenance? There are stories of people surviving harsher extremes. Rescuers frantically tugged at rocks to widen the hole. Everybody stood by, absolutely silent, peering into that hole.
Dude,
Ed flashed his light into the gap, then eased himself in. Brenner aimed his light around the room, and then, finally, at Floyd. The first thing he saw was a golden shimmer. It was not the light bulb. It was the reflection of Floyd's tooth. His mouth hung open. He was dead. Brenner was helped out of the cave, and he delivered the news.
big fucking surprise there.
Dead.
A coroner would later state that Floyd succumbed to exposure, and that they had missed him by just 3 days. About the same time that the light bulb had gone out.
Yeah.
But what would they do now with the body? The shaft walls were ready to fall inwards, and risking lives to remove a corpse was seen as just irresponsible. So the following morning, officials made a decision. Floyd would be entombed where he lay. The cave would keep its victim. Now, this did not sit well with the family, but what could they do? The next day, they planned the funeral. The town emptied of people. And the shaft with Floyd at the bottom was refilled with soil. But that's not quite the end of the story. But if you hung on for this long, keep holding on, because things are going to continue to get interesting. But first, let me do a wrap-up of where everyone is and all that stuff. Context. The Collins family already had financial hardship. Locals saw Old Man Lee scouring the rescue site for glass bottles. But the owner of the land, B. Doyle, and supposed friend of Floyd, was wholly unsympathetic. He erected a sign on the highway which said, 200 yards away, the body of Floyd Collins is imprisoned in Sand Cave. Then he began charging tourists
$8 and almost 50 cents.
50 cents apiece for the opportunity to gander into the hole. It's 100 years later, B's dead. Let's call it even. Also,
yeah, it's even. He lived a long and fruitful life, I'm sure.
Remember those claims of Kentucky being an open purse? Well, the state reneged on the deal. They refused to pay many of the rescuers, and most of them went home without any compensation. Some of them did make some money out of the situation, though. They lucked into vaudeville gigs and roamed the country giving their first-person account. Miller, however, received an astonishing offer, a $50,000 contract from the Chautauqua Lecture Circuit, equivalent to the better part of $1 million in today's money.
That's crazy.
He declined.
Oh!
He continued to work at the Louisville
He
Courier.
declined it?
The following year, his coverage of Floyd's story earned him the Pulitzer Prize.
Oh, it did?
And the brother, Homer, he needed money, and he agreed to do that vaudeville circuit. He stood on stage and regaled the audience about tales of his brother, their childhood, and the tragedy. But Homer made it known why he was up here on stage trying to get money. He had a mission.
I kept thinking of Floyd lying in the muck, where he had suffered beyond our power to imagine. I would never have peace of mind.
Legendary Splunker Part 3.
If he remained there.
He wanted the money to dig Floyd up and get him out of that cave. A couple of months later, he had it. All right, so back to Floyd. April 17th, 1925. 7 miners showed up to the scene. They began to dig. Within a week, they had arrived at Floyd.
A week?
And this time,
I guess it maybe because I don't know.
They approached from the other side of the rock formation. That way, they could remove the rock pinning Floyd's leg.
Yes,
they lifted him up from his tomb and laid him down on the fresh air above. April 26th, 1925. Floyd was set to rest in the family cemetery. A stalagmite had been set as a headstone to mark out his plot. And there he lay. No, that's not actually where it ends. Okay, this is where it gets weird. 2 years later.
This is where it gets weird.
1926.
He comes back as a zombie. What the fuck's about to happen?
Times have been tough for the Collins. So Floyd's dad sold Sand Cave to a dentist named Dr. Harry B. Thomas for $10,000.
Whoa, okay.
And Homer begged him not to, because at the time, the
I thought it was going to be like shockingly low.
Was starting to buy up tons of land in the area and turn it into national parks. They had to pay at a very competitive rate. But Lee was becoming a bit old and senile by this point.
Are they going to fucking get rid of his grave?
And frankly, it's doubtful that he cared about Homer or Floyd or anyone else for that matter. It's 100 years later. He's dead now. Let's call it even. So, the point is...
let's go to his grave and piss on it.
Land sale with Thomas. Lee agreed to a very odd clause. And that clause said, everything on that property belongs to Thomas.
Oh
and should
my
he wish, for
good
example,
God.
to exhume a dead body and re-embalm it and put it on display in something really tacky like a glass coffin inside a cave, maybe.
Are you fucking
that would
kidding
be his
me?
prerogative.
Holy
Lee
shit.
signed.
What do you mean?
Yes.
How long has it been?
And Thomas did exactly that. Doyle made Floyd's corpse a tourist attraction.
Welcome, come see dead guy.
That's right. 2 bits of gander, come and wonder at the incredible dead man who died in a cave But to add insult to injury,
Oh my god. I hate people. I take it back. Hey, there's some good people in the world. There's a lot of pieces of shit.
it worked.
Charlatan
Visitors
cocksuckers.
returned to Sand Cave.
All
to
these people, I hope they had horrible lives.
walk
And this-
morbidly.
Wow, look at him. He's all dead and shit.
Within a few months, Thomas had turned Lee's failing farm into a
But look at this goofball. He's stuck in a cave. You ever think maybe not be in the cave? Dummy.
successful business.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck you. Fuck all of you.
And the rest
Even
of-
the blurry-faced, horror-looking ones, too.
Nicole's family is horrified. They try a number
Yeah.
of times to get Floyd returned to them, including through the legal system. But somehow, incredibly, the judge ruled in Thomas's favor.
Oh
And
my
so,
god.
there he
Oh
lay
my god.
for the next 2 years.
That's it. There it is.
The cave was not done with Floyd. Until someone hatched a plan. 2 years later, it's midnight, outside Sand Cave.
my
Footsteps
God.
can be heard rustling through the brush. Now, we don't know who these two men are, but we know why they are here. To rob a grave. They sneak inside and clamber over the rocks in the darkness. Reaching Floyd's casket, they undo the latch and throw open the lid.
Oh.
There is his shriveled body. They throw him in a gunny sack and they race off into
Yeah.
the night. For 800 yards,
How is
they
he not a skeleton by now?
carry
I
dear
mean, it takes a long time.
Floyd like a couple of sweaty Santas about to deliver a really terrible Christmas present. Panting, out of breath, knowing that they're going to get caught any minute, they reach the Kentucky Green River hillside. There's no time. With a 1, 2, 3, they launch his body towards the river, and Floyd goes
So
sailing
fucked up.
into the air, up,
There you go.
up, into the starlit beyond, and landing in a bush. Oh, God.
Oh my god.
The two
Leave
men
him
flee from the
alone.
scene. Now,
Wait, what?
The two men flee from the scene.
Okay.
Now, the next morning, Thomas
Oh my god. This sucks so much.
that the body of Floyd is somewhat
Up into the stars. He started in the ground and now he's up in the air.
and he contacts the authorities. The police come.
I was hoping that internet story would just go way further. He just like keeps going up. He's in space.
They dust the casket for fingerprints, and bloodhounds are given Floyd's scent and let loose into the
Oh, there
hillside.
you go. It's
A few
wobbling.
hours later, they managed to find him, a tangled up mess near the river. But this time, with a leg missing, that same one that was trapped under the rock. So, despite his protest, it had been amputated.
Been amputated.
Neither the leg nor the culprits were ever found. And while it would be nice to think that this was some well-intentioned duo that did this out of the kindness of their heart
They probably just wanted the body to make money
to
from it.
free Floyd, it's much more likely that it was an act of vandalism because Floyd was simply too much of a hot tourist attraction.
Oh, okay, maybe that too.
The following
Yeah, I guess if you stole it, how would you advertise? Hey, come check out the body we stole.
day, Floyd was cast back into the cave, back into his box.
Did you
And
wait on? They just tossed him in the cave. God
It
damn!
was covered by a metal lid, surrounded by a metal chain, and locked with a padlock. He was now more trapped than he had ever been. This cave had spun fate once again to make sure that its victim would never leave. And so, time passed. Floyd's body would continue to decay. The rot from his body would eventually rot the casket too, and every decade or so,
Until Floyd's body would wear out 4 caskets.
it would need to be
Jesus.
replaced.
Oh my god.
A few years later, he was no longer on display. But even then, he remained in that box for many more years.
Oh, fuck.
In 1961, Floyd's Cave was purchased by Mammoth Cave National Park, and it was closed to the public. There would be no more visitors.
Good.
The entrance itself to Floyd's Cave was closed with a steel gate and bolted then welded shut. But the Collins family never gave up objecting to Collins' body being left in the cave. And here is where the story ends. In 1989, at the Collins' request, the National Park Service ventured into Floyd's cave. Continuing on a more than 60-year tradition, a team of people worked over the course of several days to remove him from the cave. They took him out, left the cave, locked it behind them,
There you
and
go.
laid Floyd to rest at the Mammoth Cave Baptist Church.
Wow, it took
Cemetery.
60 years. It took fucking 60
After
years to get him out of the cave.
64 years in Sand Cave, he is now finally
Nice.
at peace. The end. Thank you to Wendigoon as
Wow.
Floyd,
If you don't let me out, I'm going to hire a gang of hitmen to come to your house and kill your family.
Samito as
Okay, well, maybe it was good he got killed.
Homer,
The BTS meal McDonald's bag that has
I'm
McDonald's
hungry.
and BTS. Shut the fuck up and eat some BTS, bro.
Yeah,
Ordinary things
idiot. We should get some
as
BTS.
Miller,
I'm enthusiastic, but would ultimately duck out the back exit.
Rusty Cage as Gerald,
Oh, well, hello there. Haven't seen y'all in a while. Welcome to my new home.
and many kudos as Burden.
Hey, buddy. You right down there?
I can.
You little sleepy?
I can get out.
We get you a coffee?
Cold and
Little cup
I
of Joe?
Welcome,
Cup of
Joe.
Joseph?
I'm stuck.
Cup of Joseph from a little sleepy guy?
Also, by the way, in case you're confused about the channels, this is how it works now.
Okay. I do
And
need to
do
watch
not
story
forget,
mode too.
World of Tanks, World
Hell
of
yeah!
Tanks. None of this would have happened if Floyd had got World of Tanks.
Yeah, Floyd, you fucking goofball. That's the end. Wow. That fucking story. Holy shit. Oh, man. If there's anything that makes you hate humans, it's that. I mean, I guess it makes you also love them, too, because, like, his friend, his brother, the news guy, even though he was there, obviously, to tell a story, he still got, he tried. He tried. He even wrote a story about him. I mean, he won the Pulitzer. He seemed like a good guy. Dude, I was already angry towards the end. I was fucking pissed. Oh, fuck. Let's call it even. No, fuck that. They lived the life and sold this guy's body for. I mean, it's not even selling the body. It's like fuck it. It's like those like what's that guy's name? P.T. Barnum, you know, like, oh, it's he's the charlatans. They just like use people. Like, look at this freak, look at the fat guy, look at the guy with the lady with the beard. Look at this. I sewed a monkey to a fish and called it a mermaid. Look at that. Fuck off. Anyway, that's Man in Cave. Yeah, that was a very interesting story. Never heard about that story at all, and I'm glad I have, because now I hate humans more, and that makes me feel better about myself, because I am not a human. Anyway, I'm not. Cut this part out. Anyway, there you go. That's Man in Cave, Internet Historian. That was great. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Till next time. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.